Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Just Another Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about these teen takeovers and kind of the craziness going on. But first, let's start off with this video here.
Across the country, spontaneous teen takeovers are popping up.
Teen takeover.
Teen takeovers.
Teen takeovers. Let me ask you a question. How do they
Sure,
know
go ahead.
it's a teen takeover? Because they can use their eyes and recognize that the people who are there are teens?
Pretty much.
If you use those same eyes, what else can you discern about 99% of the teens in these takeover videos?
I know
That's
where he's
right,
going.
They're all black teens. But
I knew it.
you're not allowed to make that
I knew it.
observation. No, these are just teens. Don't notice anything else. So why does it matter what race they are? I can hear a liberal shriek. Simple. How can you solve a problem if you're unwilling to admit what the problem is? After yet another teen takeover in Florida, this time a wild one in Tampa Bay, James Fishback, a candidate for governor of Florida, went off at this press conference.
Yeah, he's not having it.
It was not a teen takeover.
What was it?
happened here on Friday night
What's he gonna say?
was a riot.
Oh,
We
okay,
are
all right.
not
Woo.
going to be able to address this issue because we're denying what it truly is. It's quite fitting that members of the media, including some here today, had no issue calling the events of January 6th a violent insurrection, when in
Okay.
fact no one was
Kinda
charged
true.
with insurrection. One thing that we have to confront is that black youth violence is a problem in Florida. The truth of the matter is that the group here on Friday night was almost exclusively young and black. There's something to be said about the root causes that lead a 12-year-old who was arrested here on Friday night to riot without parental supervision. 72% of black kids born today will be born to an unmarried mother. I'm here to announce three
Sheesh.
policies
My
that
boy
will take
came with
effect
stats.
immediately if I were governor. We will be charging anyone who participates in a so-called teen takeover with Florida State Statute 870-01, a third-degree felony of rioting. I'm
Damn.
also going to instruct state attorneys, including right here in the 13th Judicial Circuit, to make it so that any teen who is charged with aggravated rioting is charged as an adult.
Damn.
Number two, we're going to stand up a social media youth disruption unit tasked by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in my first month as governor to lawfully and constitutionally monitor incitement and threats of riots like the one took place here,
Okay.
to disrupt them before they begin, and that includes me as governor activating the Florida National Guard. And number three, what
Damn,
I'm going
the
to
National
direct
Guard, bro?
the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to do
Sheesh.
is to convene a 5-person panel of law enforcement, business leaders, and most importantly, our church leaders to look at the root causes of black youth crime and to prepare a report to give to me as the governor within my first 90 days. There are real opportunity gaps in low-income communities here in Tampa. There's no doubting that. But an opportunity gap is not an excuse to riot. To the youth that were here on Friday night, let me make a very clear warning. Rioting has a 3-year statute of limitation. If I see a
Damn.
single kid from here on out participating in a so-called teenage takeover,
In other words, if you riot today, that means that I can prosecute you from now until 3 years from now. Oh boy, Fishback isn't playing any games. I don't know how good of a shot he has to win the governor's seat in Florida, but my boy's not taking any shit.
from the time that I am sworn in as governor, I will retroactively have the state attorney's office charge you with rioting, and we are going to throw the book at you. You have been warned. We have
Oh,
3
wow.
years to charge you, and we can definitely charge you over the next 8 months.
Damn. Holy shit. Yeah, Fishback means business. That last name is wild too, Fishback. I want to pull up another video and see, should we watch Fox, guys? What do you think? Should we watch Fox? I guess Fox News would do it. Yeah, so this is from 20 hours ago. Let's see how this, what happens here. Teen takeover chaos breaks out as summer
Teen takeovers
nears.
like that one in Norfolk, Virginia, showing no signs of slowing down across the country. On the Jersey Shore, police arrested 6 people Tuesday night after a massive
Damn.
crowd of teens flooded the streets, sparking fights and jumping on cars, forcing officials to impose emergency curfews. On a Rhode Island beach, 3 people were stabbed
in Rhode Island.
daylight Tuesday, forcing
Damn.
beachgoers to flee the area where hundreds of teens had swarmed. And police say that the victims are now recovering from their injuries. From the Midwest to the East Coast, cities and towns are bracing for more street takeovers this Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day is right around the corner,
Seaside
too.
Heights, New Jersey says his shore town says the FBI and SWAT teams are ready if needed to help control crowds.
SWAT? What the
The town is also taking aim at social media and parents.
Social media has played a part of it. But I'll say we had 6 inquiries about pop-up. They've been handled. Guess what? We're going to do something to you. We're going to summons you.
What are you going to do?
Summons your parent.
Ooh.
This has got to stop.
Just today, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel
this was
Bowser
crazy right
gave
here.
Metropolitan Police Department permission to declare 8 p.m. curfew zones for juveniles after that violent mob caused chaos at a local Chipotle.
Yeah, I saw that video. That video was crazy. That video was nuts. But yeah, listen, the only way to curtail this is to charge the parents too. You know, whatever your kid does is an extension of you, especially if he's not 18 yet. And I would even go as far as saying 16 and up, treat them like adults. Throw the book at them. You know, give them a couple years in juvie or some kind of community service or something, right? Maybe on the first one, not necessarily, unless they do something crazy, maybe not necessarily give them a criminal record off bat, but there has to be some level of consequences because this is getting out of hand and the parents need to do something. I know for a fact, listen, I come from a single parent home, okay? It was just my mom. If I ever did some shit like this and the police called my mom, I'd be more afraid of what my mom was going to do to me than the police. Some people might say, oh, well, your mom was abusive. Yeah, my mom was abusive, but I turned out to be pretty good. Like, if not, I probably would have been outside running the streets, catching all kinds of charges. Something needs to give because this is crazy.
Tommy, I hear things like this, and then I just think back to July 2025, where Mayor Brandon Johnson in Chicago vetoed a curfew passed by the city council. Leftists may be stepping up now, but their policies are responsible.
Yeah, I actually go back further than that. I go to 2020 when a lot of this
here
activity
go
in the
BLM.
streets was excused as justice or some kind of activism. It wasn't, and this is obviously different. It's for a different purpose. I don't know if they're activating anything here except for bad behavior, but unlike a lot of times where you see people trying to do things and then escape the law, these people are unafraid of the law. They're going out and doing this, and they're filming themselves doing it, and in fact they want to be on camera doing this because they want to post it themselves on social media. So that tells me that the consequences here are little to none. If you take these kids,
there are no consequences.
Or better yet, you go after their parents, then maybe you'll start to see this not become so cool. But as long as there are no consequences and you're actually getting attention on social media, this is not going to stop. You wonder where the parents are, but in the absence of parents, I guess the long arm of the law is going to have to do something. I know this is happening around the country, but it's mostly happening in blue cities and blue states. I don't think there's much tolerance for this in a lot of red cities, red states.
I mean, it happened in Tampa, so.
Enforcement.
Lisa, and as I'm reading this, I'm thinking about spring break. I'm like, spring break's behind us, and it feels like it's in front of us.
Yeah, but it's like we didn't do this on spring break. I mean, you look at this incident right there that we see, the Chipotle in Navy Yard. I mean, you're eating your burrito bowl and it turns into Thunderdome. Like, that's essentially what happened here. But I think the broader challenge
that was a good one.
I
I'll give it that. That was good.
of these parents know where their kids are or even care. And the government can't get parents to parent and to do their job, so the only thing they're left with is some sort of enforcement. I mean, there was a stat that stood out to me before the federal takeover in Washington, D.C., and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro had mentioned that I think it was more than half of the carjackings were minors, including as young as 12.
Crazy.
And even last November, after the federal
Imagine getting carjacked by a 12-year-old, bro. You lose all aura. You get no points. Like, that you're done for. How are you a grown ass man getting, just a grown up in general, getting carjacked by a 12-year-old? Yeah, you're done. We need to take your adult card, okay? You need to go get babysat somewhere. This is crazy.
Takeover, there was an 18-year-old involved in a violent carjacking, 4 months. The prosecutors had recommended 7 years in jail, only got 4 months because of the Youth Rehabilitation Act. So the challenge is in a lot of these cities and these states, particularly these blue areas where they're already soft on crime, they're real soft when it comes to young people.
And U.S. Attorney Pirro had a message for parents. Let's watch that.
Yeah, let's see what she said.
We're not looking to hurt a parent who maybe is a single parent and they can't control what's going on. If they are fundamentally doing what they can, then I'm not going to charge them with a crime. But if they're looking the other way, Lawrence, and they're making believe like, I don't know what my kid is doing, nonsense. You know what your kid is doing. You know where your kid is going. You know your kid is violating curfew. There's been 2 or 3 curfew violations. I'm coming for you.
Josh, what do you make of?
I think what would actually help this situation would be you create a community service program, you put the kids in it, and then you have the kids do a bunch of things on this community service list, right? Whether it's cutting grass for elderly folks in the neighborhood, whether it's removing graffiti, tidying up the parks, right? Picking up trash on the side of the highway, spending time volunteering in nonprofit organizations, right? These things that would force these kids to be a part of the community. And if they don't attend or don't want to be a part of that, then you may have to throw the book at them. But I don't think starting off throwing the book at them is the greatest idea. I'm not defending. I don't want people to think I'm defending what's going on, because they shouldn't be outside acting up that way. Like, you know, you want to be outside late, fine, right? But destroying property, setting shit on fire, jumping on cars, just being ridiculous, that's unacceptable. That's not how any normal human being acts in society.
Charging parents.
Well, listen, this is not like a new idea. We've seen this happening, right? We saw this with,
when did it happen? Tell us.
School shootings. We saw this in the Ethan Crumbly case, and in the Cole Gray case.
Who the hell are they?
We're saying, listen, parents have a responsibility here that extends
to
the
the
actions
kids
of
that,
their
okay.
children. If you're turning a blind eye, as the U.S. attorney points out, then we're going to prosecute you for it. And they have in very serious cases. Why is this any different? I mean, if the parents realize, and I like that she's balanced about it. I like that she says that, listen, we're not going after those parents who are completely stretched thin with resources. But if you're just turning a blind eye, why shouldn't you be held responsible for all of this? Law enforcement is morale-wise at an all-time low, and they're stretched thin, and they've got limited resources. And going into this weekend, they're already going to be stretched as far as they can to handle things. And then you throw on top of it these, what would they call them? Street takeovers.
Yeah.
Crazy word.
Every resource that's poured into taking care of this hooliganism is some resource that they're taking away from maybe a more serious problem, and expect further violence.
Emily.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
and
disagree with that.
The behavior here and the crimes that are being committed, if it were adults doing them, it would have been stopped because the whole world would have been horrified. Somehow these guys have been infantilized, and no pun intended. They're not. These are not babies. These aren't not children. These are really big grown people who are acting a fool, and they're putting in danger a lot of other people. Kids. And we've seen to the point about the Violent Commission of Crimes in D.C. murders happening, but because everything's in juvenile court and family court, these guys get out after a matter of months. So the message needs to be systematically changed so that there is a deterrence. But here on this front, you know, I'm concerned for the
I don't disagree. There should be some level of deterrent, but they're categorizing, you know, 16-year-olds as grown adults is wild. But again, I'm also not trying to sit here and argue for them to be out in the streets being wild. Like, you want to be outside, cool. You want to be loud. You know, I get that. That's teenage shit, right? But to cause property damage and all that, then that's a whole nother story. But let's see what else she says.
That will just be wielded by the left against anyone that is committed to law and order, of like SWAT teams trying to sort of, you know, facing these teen takeovers. But I can't think of a better idea whatsoever. Somehow in there needs to be a complete deterrence. And I'm thinking, you know, is it massive stink bombs? Is it really loud noises, blarings? What is it that will deter these kids from infecting the streets and infecting the businesses? That Delaware beach was so disturbing. All of these are so disturbing to me, but that one in particular, because you saw how many kids were out on their towels and they were just having a good time like we used to. It was just really enjoying the sun and your friends with good music. And what happens? There's some type of malignant tumor that just infects it, and 3 of them are stabbed. How are the parents of well-behaved children that just want to have a good time with their friends?
She's confusing 2 different events. She's confusing Rhode Island with what happened in Delaware. And yeah, I don't want to hear any more of it. Whatever. We get it. Teen takeovers, not acceptable. Let's do something to stop it. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Do you agree with these folks here on Fox News? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Should the book be thrown at these kids? I don't know. You guys tell me. If you liked the episode, make sure you like, share, subscribe. And until next time.